So why do I have the animals that I have? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. Hey guys, welcome back to another slightly rednecked video. Again, my name's Chris. If you're not familiar with this channel, I help you to produce your own meat, eggs, and vegetables from your backyard, your balcony, your deck, your garage, or heck, even a spare room in your house if that's the way you want to do it. And this week I was tagged in a video by Kinfolk Farms of Georgia to discuss why I have the animals that I have. And really the answers are pretty simple, but let me just start off by running through what I do have. First thing you're going to notice here is the meat rabbits back behind me, and I'm out here doing my morning chores with them. So I'll give you a couple of shots of them, and then we'll talk about a little bit why I have them. Hey buddy, get back. Get back. Well, it's wintertime right now, so got to water them in water bowls. Don't have the automatic water system set up, and he likes to be stubborn. Sit right here by the door. Come on, move. Move, buddy. There you go. Good boy. There you go. There's your water for the day. Watch out. Watch out. And what you're more excited about is probably the food. Been eating a little bit heavier lately. There you go. And I'll bring some hay out and stuff in this hay feeder here in a bit. And I'm actually a little bit low on rabbits right now. I've only got the one breeding doe with her babies. These guys are about 5 weeks old, roughly. Not growing out the best, but that's okay. They're doing, they're doing fine, but they're just not the biggest, fastest growing rabbits I've ever had. So I got to get into this cage here, dump their water bowl out because the babies have made it filthy. And she's a little bit aggressive, so this may be a little tricky to do here. Get back. Get back, guys. Get back. Get back. That wasn't so bad. Get back. Get back. Get back, get back. Make sure she didn't get a hold of my fingers here. And then fill up their water bowl for the day. These guys drink a ton of water. Usually have to fill this bowl up about 2, maybe 3 times a day to keep them watered, because boy, they go through it. I like these rubber water bowls because they, it's real easy to knock the ice out of them when they do freeze. They also go through a lot of feed. There you go. That'll keep them fed for the day. All right, so why do I raise the meat rabbits? Well, a couple of reasons. One is they're super easy to raise. Just incredibly simple to do. That's pretty much my daily chores for them. That's all I got to do. Make sure they got some water, make sure they got some feed, come out in the afternoons, evenings, make sure they got a little bit more water. Like I said, I'll come and fill their hay feeders up here in just a little bit. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I got to do on a daily basis to make sure that they are fed and watered. They raise their own young and do a fantastic job of raising their own young, so it's super easy to do. I work a full-time job. I work a 40-hour-a-week job, at least 40 hours a week. I leave for work about 7 o'clock in the morning, about 7:30 in the morning. I get home about 5:30 at night. So, these fit into my schedule perfectly. There's not really much I have to do. I have to do a little bit of maintenance here. You can see my tarps underneath the hutches to catch all the droppings. About once every couple of weeks or so, I got to empty those out, take them back and dump them in the compost pile or something. But that's really about it. So they fit into my schedule incredibly well, and just very simple to do. Plus, rabbit meat tastes great. It's a great meat supply for my family. Very cheap to feed out. They're going through a lot of feed right now, but here in about probably about 4 weeks. These guys are growing out a little bit slow, but in about 4 weeks, these guys will be ready to process, put in the freezer, and use for meat for the family. And usually I can get out of one rabbit, we've got a 3-family household, so I can usually get about 2, maybe 3 meals out of one rabbit. So it works out pretty well for me and my busy schedule and for feeding my family. That's one of the reasons I raise the meat rabbits. Plus they're cute, they're fun to look at. When the kids come over, the grandkids and those kinds of things, they like to play with the bunnies, and they're quiet, they don't make any noise. Neighbors probably don't even realize that I have them, unless I tell them. So it fits in really well there. Let me take you back and show you one of the other animals that I raise. All right, we're back here at the quail hutch now. So this is one of the other animals that I raise, is the Coturnix quail. And you know, let me get my chores done with them real quick. They've already got feed in their feeders, so I don't need to worry about filling these up today. Just give them some water. And we'll open up the other side of the hutch here and show you what they look like, because they're probably all hiding over here in the sandbox. All right, guys, get back. All right, so hopefully you can kind of see that on camera. These are just small, I mean, just Coturnix quail, if you're not familiar with them. They're pretty easy to raise as well, and that's one of the big reasons I raise them. That is pretty much my daily chores for them. I do have one other hutch over here with a set of grow outs in it that I need to go over and get them watered and fed, but that's pretty much all I got to do with these guys every day. Collect the eggs whenever they're laying. Just got lights on them, so they're not laying yet. Good grief, I'm having a hard time with this hutch. But one of the reasons I raise these birds is because, well, like I said, they fit into my busy schedule really well. I mean, that's pretty much my daily chores. I just let the droppings fall to the ground. I clean those up about once every couple of months, go throw them on the compost pile. Other than that, my daily chores pretty much consist of just come out here, give them a little bit of water, make sure they got feed, and collect eggs whenever they're laying eggs. And they produce way more eggs than I can eat on a regular basis. Each one of these hens will produce about 1 egg a day whenever they've got enough light, about 14 hours a day of light. So it keeps my family in eggs. We don't have to buy eggs whenever these guys are laying pretty consistently. I can have the roosters here. I live in town, so I have neighbors all the way around me, and I'm a little bit restricted on what I can raise and what I can't raise here. And these fit in great because I can have roosters, whereas if I had chickens, I could not have chicken roosters in town. That's against the ordinances. It would annoy the neighbors. Wouldn't work out well at all for me. But because I can have the quail roosters, that means that I get fertile eggs out of these guys, which I can incubate. The eggs hatch out in about 17 days, and then at 8 weeks old, they're full grown, they're laying eggs, they're ready to process, put in the freezer for meat. You don't get a ton of meat off of these birds. It's really more of an egg production, an egg source. There we go, a source of eggs, because they do lay so consistently, so regularly. It's great for that. And then the extra roosters and things like that become meals. Usually what you'll find is, they're not huge birds, so you eat about 2 of them with a meal, and with sides and those kinds of things. So it's not a huge amount of meat that I get off of them. It's really more of egg production with a little bit of meat on the side. But again, the fact that they grow out to butcher size, to processing size in 8 weeks makes them a fantastic option for me. Super easy to deal with. They don't take up a lot of room. They don't make a ton of noise. The roosters do crow, but it's not that much louder than just the native birds in the areas that sing and those kinds of things. So it fits in really well for me. All right, so just to give you just a little bit more, again, I live in town. I'm not what you'd call necessarily a homesteader. I think my channel kind of fits in with that community. Most of the people that watch my videos probably watch homesteading videos from other homesteading channels and those kinds of things. And we kind of all fit together, but I'm not really a homesteader. I'm just a city boy. I grew up, spending a lot of time in the country. I do a lot of those things, fish, hunt, all those kinds of things, but I live in the city. I've got neighbors all around me. It's a fairly decent sized city, and there are city ordinances on what I can and can't raise. Now, honestly, they're pretty laxed. Unless your neighbors are complaining, unless you become a nuisance, they don't really come around and enforce things too strictly here. But still, I've got to be careful with what I do. I can't just get away with just anything I want to get away with. I can't just put, a couple of cows back here in my back lot. Now, I do own quite a bit of property considering I live in town. I own this lot plus my house, my front yard, and I also own the lot right over there. I don't know if you can see it, but all the way to that guy's fence over there. So this is I probably have a half acre or more, 3/4 of an acre, somewhere right around in there. So I'm pretty lucky in that sense, and I've got a lot of room to do a lot of things with, but those things all take time, those things all take money. And like I said, I work a 40-hour-a-week job. I like my job. I'm not planning on leaving my job. I actually like to work. I like the company I work for. I like the people I work with. And that's not something, I don't plan on leaving that job and becoming a full-time homesteader or anything like that. So why I raise the animals I raise is just to do something, because I like to do it. I like to produce my own food. And the rabbits produce quite a bit of meat. The quail produce all the eggs that I need. I don't have to buy eggs whenever the quail are laying. They produce a meat yield as well, so there's a little bit of variance there between the rabbits and the quail. I do some gardening so that I can produce my own vegetables, and I produce a significant portion of the food that we eat here. But you know what? We still like to have an occasional steak, some hamburger. I do deer hunt, so that produces most of the burger that we use every year. But we do buy a little bit of, you know, hamburger from the stores, a little bit of pork from the store, some of those kinds of things, or from a local butcher shop or even a local farm if we can find it from those guys. So, because I can't raise pigs here. There's just no way I could do that. And I've got the room to do it if I were to put up fencing and things. But again, living in town, that's a surefire way to get your neighbors annoyed. And the city would not allow me to raise pigs here. So I couldn't do that. I could get away with raising some meat chickens here if I wanted to. I may do that at some point in the future. I could get away with a couple of other things, you know, ducks and some of those kinds of smaller livestock things. But again, all that is extra time. It's extra work. I don't know if I want to commit to that. I've got it pretty good right now, producing a pretty significant amount of meat, all the eggs that I need, all the vegetables that I need, and my daily chores are 15, 20 minutes a day. So it works out pretty well for me. All right, so aside from the quail and the rabbits, there is one more animal that I have that is probably my favorite. He doesn't produce any meat, doesn't produce any eggs. He doesn't really produce anything, but he is just my buddy. He's just great to have around, and that's my dog, Max. Let me get back here for ways, and we'll call him over to us, and I'll give you guys a shot of him. Stay. Max, come here, buddy. Come on. There you are. There's a good boy. So this is my dog, Max. He is a pointer pit bull mix. He was a rescue from the pound. Off. Sit. Good boy. And he's just, I have him just because, I mean, he's my bud. I mean, he's just such a good dog. He's always happy to see you when you come home. I mean, just always happy to see you anytime whatsoever. You may notice I don't have a fenced in yard back here. These back two lots are not fenced at all. And when I'm out here, he can just run it. He doesn't go anywhere. He doesn't go to the neighbor's yards. He just stays right in this area. He likes to chase the squirrels up the trees and things like that, but he doesn't run off. He's well trained, so he listens to me. You can see he just sat down. And then Max, down. And he just responds to me super well, and he's happy to do it. He's just a joy to have around. That's the biggest reason I have the dog that I have. So yes, good boy. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Those are the animals that I have. That's the reasons that I have them. It works out great for me. I don't have to worry about any of the neighbors being annoyed, any of the, you know, it doesn't cause any problems. I don't think anybody even realizes I have these animals. I may add some more at some point in the future. I may not. It doesn't matter. It works out well for me. It produces a significant amount of what we eat as a family, and it's minimal work. It really doesn't take me long at all. You guys saw the chores that I did this morning, 10, 15 minutes, and everything's taken care of for the day, and I can go about my day, go to work, go do whatever it is that I need to do. Plus, I can go on vacation whenever I want. It's no big deal to have the neighbor come over and just take care of everything for me, and I don't have to worry about getting, you know, hiring somebody on, or the animal's gonna be taken care of while I'm gone, any of those kinds of things. It's just super easy. It just fits in extremely well for somebody that lives, you know, in the city, works a regular job, and has a busy life. So thank you guys so much for watching this. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and as always, God bless.